Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. On expectation number one, Mr. Shivaraman, who's a scientist from Mumbai, is calling in. What do you think he should be looking at, Mr. Modi?
This important job for Narendra Modi to attend in this country. We are the youngest intelligent population throughout the internationally. We are the youngest population and intelligent and educated population. The unemployment rate has gone up in UPA 1 and 2. And even this issue, Narendra Modi, even if he attend it immediately, it will pave way for around 1 million jobs, create 1 million jobs immediately by reducing the retirement age in government service and by stopping the extension in government service. At least 1 million jobs can be created immediately. Pensionary benefit government should not think about.
Yes, Mr. Shivaraman. Mr. Shivaraman, thanks for calling in. Now we are going to take a response to what Sanjay Jha said from MJ Akbar. MJ Akbar, I don't know if you're seeing the rankings out there, but its bring down prices today has 2 or 3 times as many votes as the next one, which is of job creation. Your response to Sanjay Jha, please, Mr. Akbar.
Yes, I can understand prices. As I said, that is the high point of the fever. But I'm glad to hear from my friend Sanjay Jha that he's recommending that the BJP should do all the things that the Congress failed to do in 10 years. If they were all so obvious, one is amazed that they were not done before. One. Number two, when I hear this talk about inflation, I recall all the time, if you look at the newspapers, and I'm sure, Arnav, you will bear me out, every 2 or 3 months, either the Finance Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, or the Deputy Chairman Planning, Dr. Ahluwalia, used to say, yes, inflation is going to come down in exactly 6 weeks, just a few weeks more. Just a few weeks more. It's just around the corner. Nothing ever happened. So were the worthies of the last government really telling us lies? Will they misleading us when they made these promises? The thing is that one of the important points about aspects of inflation is also speculation. It's also the fact of a very arbitrary levels of exploitation in prices. Now, some administrative responsibility, some administrative decisions can be taken in this respect. And as Lord Meghna Desai has said quite clearly, you have to use other mechanisms like releasing food, like putting availability into the market and so on and so forth. And I'm talking really from a common sense perspective rather than an economist perspective, but I'm sure there are things that can be done. But simultaneous with this really is what our caller from Bombay said, jobs. I tell you, the anger at unemployment is really much higher, much higher, because you're playing with the future of the youth out there. And their anger is, one of the things that you did not mention, Arnav, when you were summing up, in a sense, the debate, was that the collapse of the manufacturing sector. Now you take ideas like
Arnav, I have a question for Mr. Akbar.
Even if 10 cities start, what does 10 cities do? They create jobs at the lowest or the second, at the lower rungs of the economy.
That's good,
and
but
for people who need it most. And that is why these great infrastructure projects will help alleviate the anger and frustration of
Mr. Akbar, if I can just interrupt you for a minute.
May I come in now?
Couple of points coming in. By the way, I'm extending this debate to go beyond 10 o'clock. Please, we'll take more callers.
Mr. Modi in today's speech.
1 second. Just a minute.
Yeah. Mr. Modi in today's speech made a mention, Mr. Akbar, about, doing things for the poor. He said this government is for the poor. Now, it's very different from, the general assumption that you have got, a lot of free market in, fundamentalists as economic advisors whose articles, if I'm to believe, and I've been reading them very religiously, say that your government is going to be focused on growth and growth and growth. My question to you, Mr. Akbar, is that unfortunately no country can predict its growth. It's impacted by many variables. So are you going to therefore increase subsidies because you're worried for the poor? Or are you going to cut subsidies?
Okay, one second, Sanjay Jha, I interrupt you because the number of phone calls on expectation number 1 debate is just phenomenal. And Kiran Bedi, I'm coming to you next, but I will be unfair to the number of people. In fact, I'm told our next caller on public expectation number 1 debate is from someone watching in Muscat. Mr. Subramaniam is watching in Muscat. Vandana Shiva, I know your hand is up. Kiran Bedi, Vandana Shiva, apologies, I'm coming to you. He's the manager from Muscat. 1 second. Mr. Subramaniam, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, now, how are you?
Go ahead. I'm doing very well, Mr. Subramaniam. What's your expectation, number one?
Yeah, before I start, first of all, I would like to congratulate BJP and Modi ji for their superb performance in the election.
Oh, for God's sake.
And this is not the time to be cynical, and we need to be positive and hopeful.
Okay, now come to your expectation, number one.
As far as I'm concerned, two important things. One is the employment as well as inflation. These are the two things which can really take care of the middle class and the poor people. So, Modi ji, I am hopeful that he will make sure that these are all done.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Subramaniam, it's all linked in a way. When we talk of a crackdown on corruption, if that happens, leads to investment, leads to jobs, and eventually that leads to a situation where, you know, people do not feel the brunt of a government that does not function and also allows inflation on the other side. One more caller, Mr. Shah is calling in. Mr. Shah is calling in from Mumbai. Mr. Shah, quickly please. Good evening.
Sir, first of all, congratulations to नरेंद्र मोदी. और जो आप जब इन्फ्लेशन की बात कर रहे हो
जी
कि प्राइस राइज इतना बढ़ गया है और एक ही दिन का तो सॉल्यूशन है नहीं. जैसे अकबर जी ने कहा था कि कोई बीमारी जब भी एक्यूट हो जाती है तो उसको पहले निकालने के लिए इमीडिएट के लिए आप आइस पैक रख देते हो, लेकिन ये जब बीमारी निकालने के लिए पहले कुछ कड़वी दवाई देनी पड़ती है, उसके बाद ही वो बीमारी दूर होती है. और मुझे मालूम विश्वास है कि अगर मोदी सरकार और मोदी सरकार के पूरे जो स्टाफ है पूरा, अगर उनको पूरी तरह सपोर्ट देंगे तो 100% शुरुआत की बीमारी को दर्द भरी होने के बाद भी इस तरह से उनको क्लियर कर देंगे. तो हमें जनता को भी कुछ देर तक
yes, Mr. Shah. Yes, Mr. Shah. So, you know, I put this, Mr. Shah, first of all, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जो आपने बात कही, कड़वी दवाई देने की बात. सिर्फ सवाल मेरा यह है, और किरण बेदी जी इस बात पर आए कि जब कड़वी दवाई दी जाएगी तो लोगों का भरोसा होगा, लोग समय देंगे, लोग क्या लंबे दिनों के लिए कड़वी दवाई खाने के लिए तैयार होंगे? किरण बेदी एंड लॉर्ड मेघनाथ देसाई. किरण बेदी फर्स्ट.
इन्होंने स्टाफ की बात की, मैंने वही कहा था. कौन सा स्टाफ जो इनएफिशिएंट हो चुका है, कौन सा स्टाफ जो सेक्रेटरीज कमजोर हो चुके हैं, जब तक वो जानेंगे नहीं, जब तक उनको हिम्मत नहीं मिलेगी, वो काम नहीं करेंगे. तो ये जितने आपने प्रायोरिटीज दी हैं, वो क्या प्राइस राइज सिर्फ एक मिनिस्ट्री का फेलियर है? क्या कोई मिनिस्ट्री अगेंस्ट प्राइस राइज है? इंटर मिनिस्ट्री है. इंटर मिनिस्ट्री कोऑर्डिनेशन फेल होती है, इनएफिशिएंसी होती है, जिसकी वजह से प्राइस राइज होती है. वो इन्होंने भी बोला स्टाफ. मैं यही तो कह रही हूं कि ये जब तक हाउस इन ऑर्डर नहीं होगा, वो डिलीवर कैसे करेगा? वी वांट अ disarrayed, a house which is in disarray to be put in order.
Yes.
And here is a man who's not even yet taken over as a prime minister. We need efficient staff to start removing these.
No, but Miss,
many other things will be taken care of.
Yes, Miss Bedi, but I can put to you, from a journalist to someone who says I am now looking at joining the Indian political service, I can tell you, when you join the Indian political service, which I feel you will do very soon, I don't know, there is one buzz that you'll be Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, there's one buzz you'll be the Chief Ministerial candidate, one buzz says you will be the advisor to the Modi government on bureaucracy. Let's see which one of these come true. Don't look surprised. I am a journalist, I live in the world of intelligence speculation. But one question goes here today, that why has the previous government not cracked down on the middlemen on food inflation? The previous government has not cracked down on the hoarders. If Mr. Narendra Modi wants to be strong and have a tough policy, मैं तो कहता हूं जो कड़वी दवाई है, the tough medicine, the strong medicine should be given to the middlemen and the hoarders. It should be so tough that they should cease to exist after that. Yes, I see a hand go up, Meghnath Desai, but before I come to you, Meghnath Desai, next caller is from Chennai, Mr. Ganeshan calling in from Chennai. Yes, Mr. Ganeshan. Mr. Ganeshan, good evening, and just turn on the volume of your television, otherwise we'll hear an echo here.
Yeah. Arnathji, I am your fan.
Thank you very much. I am your fan too. Please continue.
Yeah, see, I used to watch your debate always. I never miss. The first point is that internal security should be strengthened.
Yes.
Because during Modi's rule, in future, there should not be any single communal clash in our country.
Well said.
I strongly believe that our neighboring countries are creating all these nonsense in our country. So Modi should have a strong internal security system, as well as for external, he should inform all neighbor countries that we are peace-loving people and we don't want to fight with anyone and we need prosperous.
Well, Mr. Ganeshan, thank you for watching. Thank you for your call. Meghnad Desai, why were you nodding your head in the negative out there? Internal security is a great expectation, especially from a BJP government. Yes, Meghnad Desai.
Yes, but I don't think the idea that labor and ratio is going to rise and therefore you're going to beat down the workers. But to come to the main point, 3 years ago, Narendra Modi put forward an 11-point plan to the central government on how to control inflation, which includes getting rid of the middlemen or making the whole supply chain more efficient.
Yes, I remember that.
He had this plan. The government did not implement it, so he comes ready. He comes ready with a very intelligent thought about the marketing reforms, about warehousing reforms, about improving the supply chain, about improving the cold storage. So I think this is a very well prepared, thought out plan.
Good
and
point.
I'm sure he'll be able to implement it.
Well, you know,
and I think it will take 6 months, but it will. The prices will come down.
Well, you know, this is one point I'd also like to raise. Meghnad Desai puts
a quick response to what Mr. Meghnad Desai said. A quick response. Number one, the middleman is an issue of different state governments. It's not just a central government.
No, that's again a defeatist approach.
If you really want to improve cold
that's a cynical approach.
If you, no, 1 minute.
Your government got the report from Mr. Modi did nothing.
Management, if you really want to get better cold storages,
please.
If you really want to cut down transportation, then why are you against FDI and multi-brand?
Same old line. Pravan Verma countering you here. Even the JDU is not willing to listen to you. Pawan Verma.
And ensuring products go, as they say, from the farmer to the
Shiva
fork.
coming to you.
Why is the BJP contradicting itself?
Why don't you understand one thing, Sanjay Jha? That Narendra Modi... Okay, fine.
Arnab, allow me.
Pawan Verma, allowed. Go ahead.
Arnab.
Go ahead.
Arnab, this is not the time again to fall into the familiar BJP Congress acrimony. A new government has come to power and we have to wait to see what its priorities and blueprints for governance is. But I was impressed by what one of your callers said. Your caller said that some kadvi dawai has to be given.
Yeah.
And in Tulsidas's Ramayana there is a very telling line.
Yes.
Bin kadvi bheshaj piye mitay na tan ki taap. Without having a bitter medicine, the pain from the body will not go. The problem, Arnab, is, and I'm sure Mr. Modi will find a solution, is that now that he is in the chair of those who govern and not the critic outside, India is not a monolith. There are many competing priorities and different people are going to say, the rich, the middle class and the vast number of the poor, that the medicine has to be different from each other. This is the problem of running a complex country.
Point taken.
I'm sure he'll find a solution, perhaps mix all the medicines together.
Sir,
but let's not undermine the problem.
Sir,
especially when juxtaposed with the expectations he raised, it is time we wait and watch how he delivers, and I hope he delivers.
Vandana Shiva to come in next. And after that, I'm coming to you, Meghnad Desai. I'll just say the Kadvi Dawai has been there. Narendra Modi headed a working group on consumer affairs, constituted in April 2010. It gave its report in January 2011. It told the government what Kadvi Dawai is required. But I think one of the reasons what happened in that period, Meghnad Desai and Vandana Shiva, was this was also the period when all scam after scam broke out and shook the UPA government so hard that by the time this report was actually given in, Manmohan Singh was clutching at straws for political survival. All that Narendra Modi needs to do today, some will say, is pick up that old book of what his own recommendations were for a supply side attack on inflation, and maybe all state governments will support him also in that. Yes, Vandana Shiva.
Sure.
Yeah, quickly, you know, Kadvi Dawai reminds me of IMF World Bank structural adjustment conditionalities. They always use the phrase bitter medicine, so let's not treat it as real therapy. Secondly, this prescription that's being given of bringing in FDI and retail forgets the fact that in that model, not only does the farmer get a 40% share, the farmer gets a 2% share.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a double crisis, rising costs of basic necessities, but falling incomes of the poor. That is why farmers are committing suicide. If we don't crack that one, and if we allow a 2% model to set in, our small farmers will be wiped out.
So you tackle corruption.
I think when our future Prime Minister, but it won't tackle corruption. Walmart is the most corrupt organization of the world. Just look at the data.
Now you are on a familiar turf.
Look at the way they exploit their workers. Look at the cases against them.
Yeah, but where's Walmart in India? Where's Walmart in India? There's no Walmart in India.
2019.
There's no Walmart in India.
2019 was cited repeatedly by Mr. Modi.
I'd say
what do you think? FDI was created
2 minutes.
Walmart.
2 minutes on the debate. One caller.
Let me come to my final point. My real point is this. 2019 as Gandhi's vision is not just about cleanliness. It is about another economic paradigm. It's about every person having work and meaningful work and dignity. Let Gandhi not be forgotten in this period.
Well, you know, it's all linked in a way. I keep making the point, corruption, inflation, investment is all linked. We have one caller, last caller, and then Meghnad Desai and MJ Akbar will come in. From Bangalore this evening, Diwakar is calling. Diwakar, good evening.
Good evening, Arnav. First of all, nice to speaking to you.
Nice talking to you, Diwakar.
Yeah. Along with this, what the first priority, what I feel is, it is a law and order issue.
Absolutely.
Law and order issue, because along with other issues like inflation, foreign policy or security in our international border, including that inclusion of it, because everybody thinks they can get along with anything, whatever they do, including what Kadvi Dawa, what you spoke about right now, that this Kadvi Dawa, it includes the law and order, the middleman, what they speak, what they eat more than the producer in the agriculture sector.
It's a good point, Mr.
So
Diwakar.
this is the Kadvi Dawa that includes the law and order problem, which should be given a more priority, which will in turn will give it a lot of result in other.
Well, I think that's a good suggestion. Meghnad Desai, to you, and I'm closing with MJ Akbar today on our public expectations debate. Meghnad Desai, the nature of this debate, the expectations and the phone calls, do they make you feel that there are a lot of people out there who believe the solution is simpler than the BJP or the NDA would like them to believe?
Yes, of course. You know, the government has to say they are doing something, they are acting on the problem, but that bringing down prices is a 6 months to 9 months problem. The Kadvi Dawai has already been given by Raghuram Rajan in increasing interest rates. So you don't have to give any more Kadvi Dawai. Now we have to have supply side solutions to increase the availability of food grains and to bring down the prices. And that can be done in a horizon of 6 to 9 months.
Okay, MJ Akbar, last question. You've been a journalist, you've analyzed governments from the outside, and now you're going to be on the inside. My question to you is, of course, the government will say there is no honeymoon period. You know, we've been voted in for 5 years, not for 100 days. That's all for the media, etc. But in your own mind, how long will the honeymoon period start, and when will people actually start looking for solutions that impact their daily lives?
I think the people really want this government to hit the ground running, in all honesty. And I think many of the issues that have been debated today or not, and debated very well, including we've had some very, very good interjections by your remarkably intelligent viewers. You know, they can be covered in 3 of the points that have been made today in the public discourse and in speeches and so on. Number 1, sabko saath leke chalo. That is critical that, you know, we should all as Indians now move together towards a common purpose. Number 2 is that development for all, and the emphasis on all really is huge. That means no one who's poor is going to be left behind. It is not going to be growth only for the rich if the benefits of growth do not go down to those who need it most, far more than anyone else. That means the poor, right, and irrespective of caste, creed, you know, whatever else may be the fault lines of our demography. That it has to be growth for all. And third, I think a phrase that will cover many of the issues that Kiran has raised, many of the issues that your viewers have raised: good governance. Good governance. Good governance is the antidote to corruption. Good governance is honest governance. Good governance is efficient. Good governance is where infrastructure projects are not trapped in files, but are put into place, and so on and so forth. And I think this is really the triangle around which I hope and I'm sure the future will proceed.
Well, Mr. Akbar, we're going to summarize all this. You're a member of the Strategic Affairs Committee of the BJP. When we summarize it at the end of the week, the day after the Modi government is sworn in, I would like your help in taking these suggestions to those who have been sworn in so that they can action at least some of what people think their expectations are of this government. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that wonderful debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight.